Here we go. It's time for another sprint zone, and this one is for 8:29. So everything's pretty good. It looks like a decent double pace line, and everything goes well. And this is a point, maybe a finer point, but let's just talk about what happens right here because this is a pain in my butt and one of my pet peeves. I'm gonna stop this. So take a look at this. So what's happened here is all of a sudden the two riders in the screen are not riding next to each other. And this is because the two riders in front of them are not riding next to each other. This is bad. And there's two things that should be done here to correct this. First of all, the rider in the red helmet should be riding next to the person in the blue up there. Handlebars should be parallel. And then we have the two riders in front of us. They follow the same pattern. No, 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 no. And so I'm going to make this point here. What should happen here is that the rider on the left here should drop back to match handlebars with the rider on the right to correct this anomaly. Otherwise, it just gets propagated. All right, so enough of that. And it just causes wonkiness. I mean, we're getting to the point where everyone's pretty good. It's time to like be better. Because you see here, look at this wonkiness here. And I would like to say that if people are on the ride, if you can't do this, if you can't ride next to the person in front of you, you need to go to the back until you can. And you can practice this 8 feet off the back or whatever. So looking rearward, got the same thing kind of happening, but they're in the back, so that's where they belong for whatever reason. Although this is kind of a sketchy section where there's like potholes and things, people want to be back a little bit, but my comments still hold. Everyone needs to be back a little bit. So end of that lecture. So everyone's looking pretty good, and this isn't horrible as far as like how much road we're taking up, but we could still be over a little bit to the right, but people are positioning themselves for the sprint zone. And while I'm rambling here, I was talking to Marcelo a little bit, and he's doing this great, cancer fight thing. So I'll put it up on the screen here. You'll see his jersey, the Great Cycle Challenge. I know like Seth also in the community is doing this. So a shout out to what Marcelo's doing. So take a look at this and maybe sign up next year for this. It's probably too late now. Anyway, enough of that little commercial. So here we go. It's time to head into the sprint zone. Oh, we reset that. So let's just fast forward up here and get to where the sprint zone is supposed to occur. Here we go. So people positioning themselves, people getting a drink, Byron coming off a little bit. Not sure what to say there, but it's good. This is where people try to position themselves for where they belong in life or in the pace line. Not certain why Byron's gone to the back, but hey, it's good for somebody to like shepherd, or he likes to pull those folks up slowly. So today I'd like to talk about like some of the power. We've got like my power, Byron's power, Matthew's power, Scott's power, and Curtis's power. All of the instantaneous power are on the upper half of the screen, and the 30-second power is below. I think that's probably the best way to do this, and it is quite interesting, so you can watch your favorite rider and see what their power is all about. I'd also like to thank Scott at this time providing his video once again, because when I'm not there, he'll be there to see that. So let's get the game afoot. Everyone looking good. We got Isla back there getting a reasonable position, but dropping back a little bit. Ian coming up because he knows it's better to sag back than to get dropped. I'm coming up through this because you can see, and every week I say this, there's like, I call it lethargy. And maybe that's not right. It's maybe, I don't know, lack of confidence or just laziness or people just not wanting to assume any position working out up there. Anyway, we got Ilka up front looking strong on the gravel bike. She's been riding like so strong the past couple of weeks, and now you can see that she's got confidence. A couple years ago after she crashed, she was like, I don't want to have any part of this. And now in the mix, and I'm liking it. Looking rearward here, we got Curtis, and it looks like Wolfgang and some others, and it's a reasonable position for the sprint zone. Good riding, pretty much side by side, and you can see the good riders there. You see Vince riding next to Don, handlebars nicely, parallel. That's perfect. That's how it's supposed to be done. Noticing lots of green today, and the First City team are making their mark, making their presence. It used to be the red menace of the peloton overwhelmed the group, but now it seems like the green machine is in full force. At this point, looking at my power, it's not all that high, but it means that the people up front must be working pretty hard if my 30-second power is like in the 190s. Look like Matthew Michaels, 30-second power, 309. Oh my goodness, you can see this must be a little bit of a grade here. Even Scott and Curtis, well into the 200s, as mine has crept up also. A lot of work being done up front there. Well done, Ilka. And looks like John Lawyer up there. Yeah, so it's my time to take over a little bit. Gonna go up front and try to keep everybody honest because it looks like people are ready to go. And this was surprising. I kind of come up and nobody follows me. I'm like, what is up with that? It's like, do I have no respect? So at this point, I didn't really notice that nobody had come up because I could feel that Ilka was like on my wheel, or at least somebody. And looking back at this video, I'm like, they're kind of letting us go, which if there were enough people up front, this would have been a springboard for an attack. But it's all good. Something to notice here. Ilka looking strong, and I'm surprised because normally people like they're doing work at the front wait for others to come up, and the gap begins to grow, and it looks like Don is back there like just waiting, and he's a strong rider. He's been on the podium a bunch of times, and perhaps it's lack of respect for me and my strength, but I didn't think I was doing that much. I'm looking at my like 30-second power. Okay, it's like 210 watts, 211 watts, pretty much like right at my FTP or a little bit over. But I want to do a little bit of work at the front, keep people honest. And now it's go time. It looks like the rest of the peloton decided that they want to come up here and things are about to change. Got Byron in Scott's camera looking strong, and you can see as he passes me that it is game on. And when Byron goes to the front, it's like, hold on to the cape. I'm sliding back, and there's a slight wind coming off my right shoulder. So I'm still sitting out in the wind, and you can look at my 30-second power, 298. 290 some watts for 30 seconds. So that's a lot. So I'm trying to sag back, get a little bit of shelter here, but that's not really working all that well. No one's letting me in, but I'm not trying to force myself in either. But it is somewhat a lack of respect because I should have been put into the good line after all the work that I had done out there. But live and learn. I'm hoping to get a little bit of shelter from Byron up here, but I can see, you know, I'm just putting out like a ton of wattage, and it's just like crazy for my 30 seconds. Anyway, life's pretty good out here. Starting to get a little bit of shelter. Looks like Jason going to the front. Looks like Mr. Lawyer got Byron, got Vince coming through. And Vince hasn't been out in a while, sitting out not quite as savvy as some, and he's looking to get into the line here. I settle in finally behind Wolfgang, and I've got plenty of shelter. And then the big man shows his head. Beast in the pink. Matthew Michaels, the legend of the group. Got Greg coming there. And Dean, as it is Grupo Compacto. Lots of watts being thrown down. I got like 290 or so. It's like, we're working hard here. Got Josh Sturgeon back there, coming up in the wind a little bit. We got Marcelo wearing the kit that we mentioned before. Looking out towards the yellow line. People are just pushing it just a little bit, but that is where the shelter is. Dean out in the wind, and I am grateful for a little bit of shelter there. Greg kind of hanging on, kind of wiggle wagging a little bit there, but still in contention. I always like this little downhill before the slight upgrade. It's a chance to recover just a little bit. What's going on now is that people are trying to get a little bit of recovery. And it looks like people have gone off the front. And yes, it is Scott who has let big men ride off the front. What is going on here? So now it looks like we got Byron. Maybe is it JC and Don Doherty up the front and Beast going to join them. This is dangerous right here. You know, this should not have happened. And maybe Scott was out there too long and couldn't respond. But those who were around Scott should have probably responded to this. They should not have let Byron go if they had any chance or anything left. Anyhow, there's been a selection up the road, and there are others coming, and it looks like it's game over, but Joel comes to the front, looking to do some work here, and that's a good thing. I'm coming up, going to try to keep things honest. Wolfgang's there, and they are just dangling off the front. I'm not certain how well coordinated they are. We are definitely holding them at bay, if not gaining some ground. And this is where in the past, we'd have folks going off all cowboy, thinking that they could go do this themselves. You know, you got podium quality people up the road, and you think you're gonna go off all cowboy up the road and get them on your own? I don't think so at this point. Anyway, Joel working hard at the front, excellent pull, working really strong, and then Wolfgang takes over, and they're getting a little bit of a gap on us, but we are committed here. We are committed to working hard to bring some people back. And at this point, we probably shouldn't have been able to bring these people back, but it doesn't hurt to try it. It keeps people honest. At least in our little group, it would have been a further separation and a chance to work. And honestly, sometimes when the supers are here, that would be some of the folks up the road, we can't help them out in rotation. And all we do is just like sit in. Is it a good workout? Yeah. Is it teaching people something? A little bit. But a lot can be taught about doing a rotation. There's the arm flick, and it's my time to take over again. There we are, looking at my 30-second watt. It's like 290 or so, 300, looking strong there. And I'm working hard. And thankfully, there comes Mr. Lawyer to the front. One of the big men from the TTH, but is no longer joining them on the regular, has come to help out. And this has injected a huge shot of confidence back into the group, having somebody willing to keep the speed up high and driving it hard. 27 miles an hour. So the B group back here is no joke as we continue, and it looks like to bring people back. And yes, perhaps the lack of cooperation up front, or perhaps the confidence, the hubris that they have be caught. Oh, the microphone dropped out a little bit. That they would not be caught by the rest of us. But that's okay, because we're still working hard, and this is a lesson to be learned here. Curtis looking strong back behind me. I got Mr. Lockwood, a few people, and Dean had come to the front. This is excellent. Like in the old days when Dean would go off by himself, he's learned to come through slowly and to help the group. This is the thing of beauty that warms my heart, and they are within distance, striking distance, and the rest of the people come. Curtis looking strong, Mr. Lockwood coming strong, John looking good, and just having them up in front fills that air gap. I love it, and the catch is made. I'm pleased. At this point, I don't really have enough to go with it, as the acceleration is even higher. Looks like my 30-second watt, like 280 watts or whatever. Beast gives up the ghost. Good job there, keeping the posse up the road. Most impressive. I guess I didn't spend a lot of time talking about Matthew's power up there, but you guys could either rewind this and take a look at this. There was a lot of juice being thrown down by the big men up front. Last minute scrambling here. Ilka coming up on my wheel. Most impressive on the gravel bike. At this point, I've kind of shut it down. It was 100 watts, 150, something like that. 30-second power still way up there, as it's pretty much game over as we crest the hill. There he is, the big dog, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Byron, aka Superman. Well done. This was good. He's looking strong on the road bike. I'd like to thank him once again for his power numbers. That was a good one. I enjoyed that. And I think people learned that working together, even though Joel sacrificed himself, that was cool. We had chatted about this, and he figured he would give it a go because, he had a hard workout the days before, and that was good. I enjoyed that. That was good. That I worked hard on that one. I'm certain everybody did. Not certain who the actual winner of that was, but let's see what we have here. Oh, looks like Mr. Doherty, maybe somebody in front of him. Maybe got Curtis, Scott, and some of the rest of them looking good. Yeah, Mr. Lockwood. Looks like Mr. Lawyer up in there. It's Danny. Yeah, that was fun. Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone. Enjoyed that. Remember about my microphone dropping out for a few seconds. It's a new one, and the power cord left me. But hey, all right. So party on, everyone. Till next time. Peace out.